Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for being here. We'll be starting shortly. Just get something to drink. I'm eventually going to get an intro. I'm probably going to play something or, have something so I can start the live and, give a little intro. I'm new to all this, so please bear with me. And I'm going to start doing shorter, more comprehensive videos so we can go into specific details and some very specific topics, because it's a lot to cover when it comes to health. From a myriad of ways you can approach how you view health and how you can get back to the way we are designed to live. There's a lot of deception, there's a lot of illusion, there are a lot of everything being promoted out there. So, we got to get back to the way it was supposed to be. So bear with me. We're going to start in just a second. What's going on? Everyone, please hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. I want to share information. It's a lot that I've learned. It's a lot that I've experienced. And I want people to have, the best outcome from their efforts. Because a lot of what you hear and a lot of what people tell you, understand there's a market for this information. So people are going to sell you a lot of lies, a lot of things that are very expensive, very detrimental for your long-term longevity. So I just want to come, you know, all of that. No, I'm here. I'm just sitting here, getting something to drink. Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. I don't want the background noise to get you. Okay. What's going on, Rob Tick? Peace and blessings. Give this ghost a home. What's going on? Peace and blessings. Valar, peace and blessings. Barry Duncan, what's going on? B14 Life. Tatiana, what's going on? Let's see. Arakad, what's going on? SJ, what's going on? Shazane, everybody, I appreciate you all being here. This StreamYard, man, it doesn't even tell you. Lakeisha Nash, what's going on? It doesn't even tell you how many people are in here. So I might be using my phone a lot of times, but it's all good. Appreciate you all being here with me. Let me know if this background light is a little bright. I'm going a little early today. So let's get into it. So the topic today we're going to discuss is the truth about exercise. Okay, you got a notification. That's what's up. We're going to talk about exercise because I know it's a lot that's being sold. This world wants to market everything. They don't want to tell you, they don't want to make you self-sufficient. They don't want to cause you to critically think and be responsible for your own knowledge, from learning your own body, from testing to see what works. Because when we talk about exercise, there's a lot of things that we have to talk about. First of all, we're all different. We all have different body structures, body compositions, different proportions. So how someone else's body functions may be different from yours. Certain exercise may work for somebody else. They could cause injury in another. You said my live chat keeps blinking out. Wow. Yeah, y'all have to bear with me. They shadow banning any information where people are taking responsibility for their life and their health, whether it be spiritually, mentally, or physically. We understand what's going on, but in spite of that, we're going to keep going. We're not going to worry about persecution because we understand why the world hates the truth, why the world wants to suppress any kind of knowledge that opens our eyes to what we need to do and to what is good. Okay, Rob Tick says, it's fine, Miss Unfazed. What's going on? She says, it's fine. Okay, well, we got it. We'll keep going. So let's talk about these things because trust me, a lot of people right now, I'm an exercise enthusiast. Naturally, I like to be outside. I like to move around. What's going on, brother Mac TV? What's going on, Shanice? I understand what it's like to want to strengthen your body. You know, there's an overall comprehensive look of health. And see, we don't just focus on physical, we don't just focus on spiritual, but we understand when your spiritual nature is aligned with Christ, everything wants to improve. You want to take better care. You see the deceptions, the lies of the world. And once your eyes become fully open through the Holy Spirit, everything changes. You're not a slave to your emotions. You're not a slave to your anxieties, your fears. And a lot of these things make you lazy. They make you defeated. They make you want to not eat, want to binge eat on processed foods and a lot of things. Yeah, people don't realize that exercise, years ago isn't perceived how it is now. See, when people had children or were family oriented, just cleaning your house is a workout. Anyone who's cleaned the floor, swept, vacuumed, scrubbed, that's a workout. Anyone who chooses to take the stairs, to walk to the store when it's in proximity, this is functional exercise. And I'm going to talk about the difference between weights, calisthenics, functional exercise. We're going to go into it all. We're going to look at the nutritional aspect, which is very important, but also the rest, your sleep, your hydration, how you approach everything. Again, they domesticated everybody. People like to sit down, stay sedentary for hours, whether it be your job, whether it be in front of a TV snacking, and then you want to make an allotment of time to go to a gym. And we're going to talk about gym culture and how that's also detrimental for people to understand how we were designed to train, get our body, strong and aware. I mean, anyone who washes their cars, as a man, I like to wash my own car. And anybody who washes a car, waxes it, cleans your tires, that's a workout. Shoulders involved, legs involved, core involved. Your core is foundational in a lot of things. A lot of people who are dysfunctional, who actually engage with their children, try to keep up with a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old. Y'all know where I'm going. Just try to keep up with these kids. You're going to be running. You're going to have to match their energy, their enthusiasm. You're going to get a workout. But see, people just want to be lazy. Let the TV, let society, let the internet raise their children, and then people want to go to the gym when it's something they can manipulate. See, vanity has destroyed how we viewed health. And once again, this goes right back to what's going on overhead. This goes right back to how sin, the love of sin, distorts the perception of good things. This is why you have to be spiritually born again before you can reap the true benefits of anything you do. The Bible says, whatever you do, do it of faith, because whatever's not done in faith is sin. And there's a reason, why it's like that. Tatiana says, why are young people so sedentary? Because culture is sedentary, because there's no interaction. They're being taught to get away from social interactions, competition as children. You know, as a man, as a boy growing up, I was told to go out there and run. We were seeing who was the fastest, who was the strongest. You know, maybe we had higher testosterone levels that made, you know, we had better role models of masculinity where, you know, you saw somebody working with their hands and you, hey, I want to be strong. I want big forearms like that. I want to be able to do this work. We had a value of people who actually use their hands, people who could protect their loved ones and their families. Everything was practical and functional. It wasn't an extension of vanity. But now everything's superficial. That's why you have filters, BBLs, steroids. And all these people want to say, oh, I'm natural. But all you have to do is follow the money. Just follow the money. A lot of people are motivated by money, not by, you know, value of taking care of themselves. It's money. And when what does the Bible say? The love of money is the root of all evil. And when money is your primary motivator, you'll lie, you'll cheat, you'll take things, deceive people, and tell them, yeah, I'm natural, while you're injecting yourself. The whole sports industry has been exposed. We saw what happens with, well, first of all, we know the WWE and that wrestling is all fake. Football has been exposed. I think football came out with the steroid scandal first, then was baseball, and then it was basketball. And now we realize that they have agents that pay, you know, to suppress who's taking it. The doctor, we know doctors can be bought and sold. You just give a doctor a bribe, he'll write whatever he wants. We understand that. A lot of people out there, because they don't have basic foundational understanding, they're trying to do stuff. They don't even know if you're healthy. You have to be healthy to exercise. Some people don't have a strong enough heart. Your body is only as strong as your heart. And we're gonna break down all these things. So bear with me, y'all. I'm trying to make, you know, some shorter, more precise videos that are not too long, but we can get into the meat of the topic. So let's go to it. So first of all, we have to establish that exercise is a lifestyle, not a pastime. Exercise is a word that was created for people who separated their health from their living. But people who actually live in the real world, who want to live in the objective reality, want to be involved with building their own lives and raising their own kids and just going out and enjoying God's creation, they naturally get exercise. You know, older people tend to, you know, a lot of older people, they walk. Old people will tell you what is important, because when you get old, you don't have the room to be reckless and foolish, because you simply won't be allowed to tell the story. And oftentimes older people will tell you walking is paramount. Walking, why is walking important? Let's start at the very fundamentals. Walking is important because it's the one exercise you can do that doesn't put a burden on your heart and on your joints, but it keeps the blood flow going. It keeps your body oxygenated. You engage all your muscle groups in unison and in synchronicity. That's important. Walking is important. Swimming is also good. But walking is probably the low impact exercise where you can get all the benefits, but you don't overstress the heart. Because a lot of people don't realize that all the damage we did in our youth, it accumulates in the heart. And a lot of people, and we've seen this from the steroid industry, there are a lot of people who were at the peak of their health and they died of a heart attack. Now, we understand a lot of other things are causing heart attacks: high sugar, big pharma, processed foods, lack of healthy fats, lack of understanding how the body works. A lot of things are causing heart attacks. People don't go out to the beach anymore. You know, there's a lot of things. I love the beach. I love going out to the ocean. I love swimming. I love walking on the beach. I love being out in the forest. I just love to listen to birds chirp, watch children play. I'm old school like that. I have an appreciation for these things. I don't even watch cable anymore. I watch things that are functional, informational, but I don't really watch. There's a little few things I may watch, but for the most part, those who have unplugged from the indoctrination, there's very few things we can watch, and it's usually for to grow understanding, not to be mindlessly entertained. Yeah, swimming, what I always realized? I look at things practically. Like a lot of people, you see my pull-up bar. I have a pull-up bar, right? But here's the thing. Suppose you were out in nature or you were out in a survival situation, and the only way you could survive is that you had to pull up your body. See, being strong actually has practical applications. You just have to wait and be prepared for when that time presents itself. If I was hanging off a cliff for whatever reason, don't ask me how we got there, but sometimes you never know. You might have to. I've seen people, God forbid, houses on fire, condo, apartment, whatever is on fire, they have to hang outside the window. How long can you hang and hold your body up until help arrives? What if your upper body strength depended if you were alive? Or your ability to swim. You never know when you might need to swim. But it's a vital skill to have. You want to be able to survive in all aspects of life. So I get it. But everybody, life will teach you. I understand we all have different experiences. What's going on, Paul? Appreciate you all being here. Speak Uneasy. What's going on, brother? That was a great live stream you had, brother. Of course, man. I'm gonna support my brothers and sisters in Christ out there putting out the knowledge and information of the scriptures. So let's get back to what we're doing, because I'm not trying to make this too long. So exercise has to be seen as a lifestyle. Don't look at it as a pastime. If you have to make time out of your day to go to the gym, then you're not really living. You're not cleaning your house. Yeah, Shazam. Yeah, you had to fight off intruders. We live in a very dangerous world where people are now carjacking, breaking into people's homes. And people have families to protect. People are getting desperate because they're controlled by the love of sin. And one thing I realized, as the world grows, people's greed and evil will also grow. The Bible tells us about this. And so there's a basic practicality to exercising and working out, but you must make it part of your daily living. Yeah, bike riding is great. Don't sleep on riding a bike, man. That gets the muscles engaged, especially those who have bad knees or have issues where putting constant pressure on your knees or your joints is an issue. There's a lot of ways you can overcome and mitigate things. So let me talk about this, because this is important. Your body is only as strong as your heart. A lot of people have weak hearts for a myriad of reasons. Some people stress, bad nutrition, worry, medication, whatever. A lot of people have bad hearts. If you notice that a lot of things, as you don't engage, you have to be healthy enough to engage in certain activities. If you're not healthy, putting stress on your weak body systems is not going to help. So the first thing you have to do is make sure your heart, your circulatory systems, your nervous system, lymphatic system, endocrine systems, skeletal systems, all your body systems are up to shape, because exercise is stress. It's a healthy, good type of stress, but it's stress nonetheless. What happens when you put stress on something that's weak? It's going to break. So in order to reach the benefit from the muscular system, to take a repeated beating to come back through hypertrophy or growing back stronger through adaptation, you have to make sure your other systems are intact. There's something called the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the part of your body that responds to your fight or flight. Most people have no idea how involved the nervous system is in the muscular system. In fact, they call it the neuromuscular system. And keep in mind, I'm not a medical expert. This is for educational, informational purposes only. So I'm just giving you my personal stories here. So most people don't understand how much what they describe as the nervous system is related to the muscular system. So your body doesn't necessarily know how to differentiate between stresses. Do you know that mental and emotional stress wears on your body in similar ways just as physical stress? It causes you to burn up your nutritional stores. It causes your endocrine system, your hormones to be out of whack. Your cortisol, your growth hormone, testosterone levels are all affected by the parasympathetic nervous system. So what happens if your body, because of whatever state mentally, emotionally, or spiritually you're in, is already under a beating, and then you give it a physical beating? I know people say, I'm mad, I need to work out, I'm gonna work out my frustration. Well, here's the thing. There's a limit and a level to understanding when that's beneficial and when that's detrimental. I get it. You mad, you got a punching bag, but there's a limit because a lot of people are holding on to long-term emotional, mental, and spiritual distress. And it's been eating at their system for a long time. A lot of people have heart attacks during points of exertion when they were trying to do that. People who have drinking, many of us grew up drinking a lot of alcohol. We don't realize the cumulative damage that has occurred in our bodies from our lifestyles. And so we forget that we need to undo and heal naturally a lot of the things that are happening in our bodies. I'm just telling you, most people are not going to tell you. People are going to tell you out here, do this routine, go out and just start doing pull-ups and start running and start lifting weights. Don't think about your spiritual condition, your mental condition, your emotional state. Don't think about the everything that your body has been through. Don't think about that. And if you die, guess what these people don't? They don't care. They got their money on the front end by selling you something that didn't give you a full understanding of what's happening in your body. They just want your money at the end of the day. They're not going to tell you how many people took steroids and did things through other means. The fitness industry is just as much an illusion as the big pharma industry, as Hollywood industry, all these industries, just as much. And now we got to deal with environmental toxins. They're spraying the air, the radiation coming from cell towers. A lot of us were detoxing certain pharmaceutical injections from birth. Unfortunately, when we were children and babies, we didn't have a say to reject immunizations. We reject the immunizations as adults, but we didn't have a say in it. So we're not even realize a lot of the symptoms that are manifesting in our body as we age are from what was done to us by people who didn't understand big pharma. I'm just reading. A lot of people, I know some people smoke cigarettes. Look, smoking cigarettes, drinking a lot of liquor, your body, it's going to harden your arteries. It's going to put stress. It's going to weaken your heart. It's going to mess with a lot of your systems that you need to maximize your growth potential from exercising and put you at risk from having an issue from exerting your body. Nutrition is vital. It's not just protein, but it's fats, it's minerals, it's hydration. Most people don't realize that your potassium is huge when it comes to exercise. It took me a long time to understand the importance of magnesium, potassium, good quality sodium that comes from sea salts or Himalayan salts, not table salt. That's terrible. But natural salts. Very vital. Most people don't realize their heart. The reason they use blood pressure as a marker for health because that's your sodium and potassium channel. Blood pressure is determined by the synchronicity between potassium and sodium. So if your electrolytes are depleted or insufficient, that's going to affect everything. Some people exercise and they're literally, shortness of breath, chest pain. That's not a good sign. That's why you always want to start out with low impact. Before you start getting into any grueling workout, you have to think about everything. First, you have to make sure you're eating right. You got to make sure you're sleeping right. You got to make sure you're doing all low impact activity. Make sure that you've allotted for the stress in your daily life. When you're going through grieving or you got to work a job that puts a lot of taxing on your mind and your body, you have to be inclusive to consider all of this before you start adding onto the pile. Because your body needs to be fully recovered to move on to the next state to beat it down again. And a lot of people are not letting their body recover. And so it's a constant beating while you're nutritionally deficient, while your body's in an inflamed state because it didn't properly recover. That's going to lead to injury, organ failures, anything that Big Pharma is going to relabel into fake illnesses where they give you dangerous drugs and treatments to deflect from the obvious practical knowledge that could change your whole situation around. What's going on, Rosie Chica? Let me see. Hulk, do you drink soul water? What is that? You mean like what's going on, Takarika Styles and Kilo? What's going on? I drink distilled water for the most part. I usually add my own Himalayan pink salt or electrolyte powder from a trusted source. Sometimes I do spring water, depending on where I get it from, the brand. What's going on? Sal's HQ. What's going on, bro? Good to see you. But hydration is important. A lot of people working out hydrated. And then I know, let's get to caffeine. This stuff is coming to my mind as we talk. Let's talk about caffeine. I know caffeine is popular. We all go to the stores. We see caffeine everywhere. Caffeine is everywhere now. But you got to understand that caffeine, long-term and consistently using it as a crutch is going to deflect from the true level of health that you're in. See, anybody with caffeine can feel good, but you need to know how you feel at your base level. You need to know how your body actually is without a stimulant. Because stimulants raise your heart rate, blood pressure. They do a lot of things where a lot of us, when you're dependent on caffeine, you could be going through adrenal fatigue. You could have heart issues. Why you need constant caffeine instead of what rest is not sufficient. Nana P says, don't mess with her morning coffee. Look, nothing wrong with morning coffee, but I'm telling you, there are people out here who are taking excessive doses of caffeine instead of dealing with the root cause of their fatigue, their lack of energy. A lot of times when you remove refined sugars, you drink more clean water, you cut out the processed foods, you move around, get the body warmed up by doing basic functional activities. A lot of times you don't realize that you need caffeine. When you're healthy, let me tell you the truth. When you're healthy, caffeine can make you feel sick. I'm not talking about coffee. I'm talking about beyond coffee. But even those older people know there's a level and a limit to coffee and teas. But as you get older, depending on the age, yes, nobody's going to get in front, especially those 50 and older. A lot of us, I'm in my 40s, but when you get older, you're going to understand why people take that cup of coffee in the morning. Doesn't mean that you can't have high energy levels. It's that as you get older, you'll start to have understanding because the body, it does take more to get the body to do things it used to do easily when you're younger. That's just a fact. Now, it varies for different people, and coffee has its benefits, but anything in excess can be a problem. So, all things moderation. That's another word that people forget. Let me see. What's going on, Miss Massless? Appreciate you all coming through. I remember when I was really in super good shape, I used to put coconut milk in my coffee. I know some people use MCT oil. I used to put a lot of healthy fats and let me tell you, it worked. It's acquired taste, but it worked for me, putting that extra fat. And you don't need the sugar. Everybody knows about ketosis and training your body to burn fat as a fuel as opposed to glucose. Although glucose is always going to be there, but you want your body to work with that natural fat stores. Your body's going to always burn glucose because it's just what it is. But you don't want it to be in excess and out of balance. But you also want your body to maximize burning fat. Like I'm talking visceral fat and subcutaneous fat, the fat that is around your organs, because a lot of people have fatty liver, fatty heart. You want to get that visceral fat away, and you also want to burn subcutaneous fat, the fat that's underneath your skin in the midsection. What's going on, Christ is King? A lot of people don't realize. Do you know that when belly fat is stubborn, that could be a sign of your liver needs to be helped. You have a liver issue, hormonal issues. Usually belly fat that becomes really stubborn. I know it varies. Everybody's been there. And as you get older, it takes more and more work to get rid of that belly fat, but it's also a sign that liver. So you need to make sure your liver is healthy. Your liver produces something called bile, not bowels that comes out when you go to the toilet, but bile, bile. It's a detergent that breaks down fats. And so a lot of people have gallbladder issues. A lot of people have liver issues. So they're not producing the substance that helps them break down fat. A lot of people have gut issues, which it leads to nutritional deficiencies. If your body cannot properly break down the food you're eating, and you cannot extract and assimilate the nutrients from the food, then working out is going to be very bad for you. So you must check your gut health. You must check your organ health, liver, gallbladder, kidneys. All of these are very important. This is why the way you change how you view health is important overall. Get out this illusion of you just doing it for vanity, because if you're doing it for vanity, you're going to overlook all the vital things you need to know. Sometimes a good fasting is great. And of course, over here, we fast spiritually to suppress the desires of the flesh so we can have a better relationship with Christ and fellowship with him in the spirit. But also physically, as a co-benefit to that, is that it allows your body to dump toxins, to cleanse out the liver and all these vital things that will reset you to make better outcome and results from your exercise, from your nutrition. Sometimes overcome some things in the body, you just have to do a fast. That's why it relates to everything being a spiritual issue, because spiritual issues led many of us to overeat, to be lazy, to not be to be unmotivated. We've all been there. Life, time, and chance happens to us all. I haven't always been motivated, although I've always been very workout oriented. But I've had my moments where I know when my grandmother passed away, I didn't work out for a while. But I was taking care of my grandfather. I was cleaning the home. I was working full time. My life was still busy, but that totally disrupted my life. I had no motivation to do what I usually did. And I had a whole set of different issues that I had to deal with taking care of my grandfather. But at the same time, I was aware, what the grieving process did to me. So I had to spiritually get myself together, because exercise when I was in that state of despair wouldn't have been good for me. I needed to get my spiritual state together with God to have understanding. And once I did that, once that burden of grief was, I had peace with it, and then the stress on my my systems was more allowable for me to get back into my regular routines. But I learned that. You know, and I just want to share these things with you because the world won't tell you these things. A lot of people are destroying their whole lives to look good for 5 years. 2 or 3 years, you look really good doing these crash diets, destroying your body with grueling workouts, but you're not thinking long term. You're not thinking about making sure that your body is healthy foundationally, that you've laid this infrastructure to have longevity. You don't want to look good and strong and muscular for 2 or 3 years, only to be on dialysis for the rest of your life when you start aging, or to have some kind of mysterious symptomatic body breakdown happening that Big Pharma is going to create a false illness for. You don't want that to happen to you. There are many people out there who, in the best shape of their lives, are dead. They're dead. And people want to, we don't know. He or she always took good care of themselves. But you don't really take good care of yourselves until you take care of your whole self. Not just the vanity part, your whole self. I'm just at the age right now where I'm realizing how important walking is. And this is somebody who loves calisthenics. In my 20s, I had the 300-pound bar and all the weights and bench press and squats, power cleans, deadlifts. I did all that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I got a few free weights laying around. But I've been there, and I realized that had I had the knowledge that I have now, I would have saved myself a lot of injury, a lot of ineffective burning of my energy and my time to have better results. It may take longer, but it'll be more sustainable results. A lot of people, they get these fast results, then the moment they stop, the results go away. When results go away quickly, that just means that it wasn't a deep health that you got, superficial. Because if you can burn fat and you can get your muscles strong, but when you do it the right way, even if you take time off, you won't lose all your gains and your results quickly. But when you lose quickly, easy come, easy go. True words. Easy come, easy go. Take it from somebody who knows. Somebody who's never taken any PEDs or steroids or anything like that. I remember as a child, when I was 6 years old, I grew up watching The Last Dragon, watching Bruce Lee movies. I wanted to be strong because that's what I grew up watching. I was doing push-ups at 6 years old, 7 years old. I wanted a 12-pack before I even knew exactly what it was. I was the kid trying to do martial arts until I actually was put into martial arts, because I had to go to a martial arts camp and, but that was me. And then it's natural to me. I love pushing myself. I love strengthening my body, my mind, and my spirit. But one thing you notice, I don't do them independently. I strengthen my mind, body, and spirit comprehensively, which means that the more I strengthen my spirit, my body and mind grow as a result. I don't separate them. Because if I'm a slave to sin, eventually that's going to cause a detrimental outcome and decision that's going to affect my body and my mind down the line. I know when I was young, I did a lot of exercise, but I also drank a lot of liquor. I was drinking a lot of beer. I was smoking a lot of weed. I did a lot of things that, although I still was healthy, I was nowhere near as healthy as I could have been had I not been limited by those vices. Lust, makes your heart beat crazy. You burn through your nutrients all the time. Um, I know these things seem very functional based on the society, cultural issues, and just the nature of the flesh. But our spiritual fellowship in Christ will help release us from a lot of these things. It's all pride. It's us worrying about ourselves. It's us being focused on what we want and not what God says is good that leads us to do a lot of foolish decisions. I've been there. So I'm just trying to tell people, look, for the young people, this is some information that you should consider. From the older people, hey, we're preaching to the choir. All right, appreciate you, Brother Roman. Give this goes to home. Yeah, vanity. The women can tell you, and now it's even men. I've never seen men more consumed with vanity. I thought that was more of a woman issue, but now it's a people issue. Vanity, consumed with image. Everybody has a different body type. Everybody carries their musculature and weight differently. But now everybody's trying to look like the same person. You're not even trying to maximize your own potential. Society wants to condition and indoctrinate people to all look the same. And so there's this one cookie cutter image, and a lot of people are trying to fit that same image. That is not how we are. People are different. Maximize your own potential. Yeah, narcissism, all of that. The women are getting BBLs, but the men are taking steroids. Men and women are having cosmetic surgeries and doing all this craziness because they're not free of sin. They're not free from their flesh. But you have to first see the deception and destruction that happens from the flesh. Because there's a lot of gimmicks out there. People are taking a lot of supplements that are full of all kinds of toxins and chemicals. They give you this illusion of quick progress, but it's destroying your health in the long run. And I just want to share these things, man. This is one of those loaded topics. So let me keep going. Sleep. Oh, man, let me tell you, sleep is important. But the reason a lot of people can't sleep, the insomnia is because culture and society and diet and all these things play a role. Matter of fact, that most people don't realize if they got more engaged in their objective reality, went out and did more things around the house, you wouldn't have a problem sleeping. But if you just wait to go to the gym, but the rest of your day is filled with doing nothing but sitting around, you're not going to be very sleepy, especially with social media, constant dopamine hits from watching screens and new information. Look, we all struggle with it. But those in Christ, we have awareness from it. We see what's really happening. We can feel what's being drawn out in the flesh. So we start to put different safeties in place to protect ourselves. We have awareness. All of us holding this phone too long, your hand goes numb, you get headaches. Oh, I'm putting this down. Because we're reminded why this stuff is toxic. But let me tell you, sleep, man, when you can go to bed at a reasonable time, wake up early, get your day started, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. To see the sun early, have a good grip, to be refreshed for work, to capture the day, do the things you need to do, enjoy your family, enjoy going outside on a nice day. These are good for your soul. I grew up cutting grass. Let me tell you, and this is before I was working age. That was a good workout, just cutting a lawn. I cut 5-6 lawns every 2 weeks. Clockwork for years. That was a good workout. Very good workout. So, and then, the screens are programming your eyes to think that it's not night. So we all know about the blue light versus the red light, the television. And, they planned all this stuff in here. They planned it to be that way. They want people to be messed up with their serotonin levels, with their melatonin levels. They want their dopamine levels. They want people so messed up because then they're going to use artificial and superficial means to have false solutions. Oh yeah, just take this pill, it'll help you go to sleep. Drink liquor to fall asleep, get high to fall asleep. People are doing so many bad behaviors to fall asleep, you know? Yeah, well, look, I know what it's like to work a night job. I know what it's like to work crazy hours, and it's you got to do the best you can, but doing the little things that you can control will help you to deal with the things you can't. Because I definitely understand people have crazy schedules. A lot is happening in this world. Sometimes you got to work the job that's available. I totally understand. That's why there's a lot of things you can do to help you mitigate the effects of the things you can't do. Yeah, recuperation, regeneration, recovery. Some of the most important words that I've learned from my youth. I used to beat myself up thinking I was, what do they call them things, a Dragon Ball Z hero. I just got stronger the more I beat myself up, and that's not true. That's only in the animation world. The real world, you have to recover. You have to get your nutrition right. You have to sleep, and sometimes you must cycle a week or two or a month off and just do low impact activities. You know why? Your nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system has to recover. Your endocrine system has to recover. Um, the circulatory system has to recover. Your organs have to rest. Your body has to recover overall, not just your muscles. Your muscles are different, but the rest of your systems have to recover. A lot of people have adrenal fatigue from years of excessive caffeine, alcohol, and all these other things. Adrenals are messed up, so everybody's low in potassium, everybody's low in vital nutrients. So it's crazy. So, and if you're not getting sleep, overexerting your body is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. So, low impact. Adapt your lifestyle to what your reality is. If you're stressed, if you're under emotional, mental, or some kind of distress, you can move, but just low impact until you deal with the greater issues in your life. Go out and make sure you do a lot of walking, take the stairs, focus on doing the work around the home, doing basic activities. Don't just run and do something that puts a lot of strain on your blood pressure and your heart when your body's already under distress, because your body's already in a state of inflammation and overexertion. Your body can't tell the difference between a car accident and a heavy workout. All it knows is stress. And it'll distort your hormones. It'll distort a lot of things. Speaking of hormones, especially this is men and women, get rid of plastic. Start ditching plastics. The bisphenol A, the BPA, the endocrine disruptors, and the plastics in the food. A lot of these things, the ink and receipts, a lot of these things are terrible. They're destroying your hormone balance. A lot of people are having fibroids and PCOS, and a lot of men, what they call when you get the man things on your chest. You start having a chest look like a woman. That's your hormones. And a lot of people don't realize that eating a lot of sugar, a lot of foods that are bad for you are destroying your hormone balance. And for the women, get off those birth controls. God ordered us to live a certain way. Get off that birth control. Get off all that stuff is detrimental for your health. For the men, be careful with your supplements. Not every supplement is good. Some of these companies are putting synthetic hormones in some supplements, so you have to be careful. Yeah, Brother Days is going to come definitely with a lot of health information, and we're going to do a few collabs as well. We're out here just trying to give this information, build a network. So y'all definitely keep supporting that brother. Yeah, it's good, man. And a lot of people don't realize you need to get away from some of these cell towers. Unfortunately, if people want to fight, then fight to protect your neighborhoods and your communities from these cell towers. and get them removed if you can. If you can't move because they're dangerous, or find other ways to mitigate them as best you can, because that's causing a lot of damage in the health that people are going to associate with the official narratives. Let me see what else we got going on. Yeah, a lot of it's a lot of things. Excessive alcohol destroys. Look, nobody's telling you can't have a cup or wine or a beer here and there, but we all know what the line is when we're drunk. We're drunkards. We know what that is. We're using it as a spiritual remedy because we have a void that only God can fill. So we trying to. That's when you become a drunkard. We all know where that line is. If we're going to be honest, we know. We know when we're depending on things because we're not going to Christ. We're not going to our Creator, our Father. So don't let that destroy you. What's going on, Cozy Toes? Let me see who else we got in here. But I'm telling you, man, just get outside, get around trees, get sunlight. Sunlight. Sunlight is vital for a lot of things. We don't even realize that God has given us, made it very simple. All we have to do is our bodies in the right healthy environment, limited right nutrition, does a lot of self-healing. We just have to get out the way. Most of us are in our own way. We overeat. We don't give our body a time to detox, to heal. We don't go out in the sun. We're not breathing right because we have anxiety, fear, drama, and worries that, our lifestyle choices and sins, love of sins are bringing in. You get rid of a lot of these things that are free, take advantage of God's creation in a way you don't have to spend money. You'll realize you won't have to go out and do these extreme things. And then you can slowly build that stable foundation where you're not dependent on doing so much. People spend a lot of money. What's going on, Uncle Paranoia? Joe, what's going on? Shalom. People spend a lot of money and a lot of time doing things that won't help them. A lot of these supplements, terrible for you. A lot of these proteins and stuff, like, look, eat foods. Let foods be your medicine. Eat whole foods, non-GMO, organic, unprocessed foods. Let that be the basic foundation of your diet. Get away from a lot of other stuff. Let's talk about overtraining and undertraining. Overtraining is when you're doing too much and you don't let your body heal. You don't have the proper nutrition to have proper recovery. You're not sleeping. You're not dealing with the internal issues that your body needs to be in place for you to develop a healthy body. Overtraining is basically just beating your body up over and over again. You're not giving enough recovery, enough space, enough rest, enough nutrition, enough everything. Overtraining is bad. And overtraining could lead to a condition where you need to take maybe a year off, not from doing nothing, but just from excessive exercise. Still walk. You can do planks. You can do body exercises that are very low impact. But in terms of excessive stuff, it's going to take a while for your parasympathetic nervous system, your circulatory endocrine systems to come back to balance. There are a few natural things that you can get help to expedite that process. You got to do your own research. I'm not going to sit there and promote one thing. It's a lot of information out there. It's a lot of testing and self-experimentation that we all need to do. But it takes a while when you get to a point of overtraining. It's not as simple as just taking a break, a few days off, and getting back into it. There's a deeper underlying issue. I'll give you a personal story that when I was in my youth, I had a moment of overtraining. Let me tell you how severe it was. When I stopped working out the weight excessively, I was actually burning more fat and growing muscle because I was finally giving my body the rest and I wasn't doing the exercises. And that's when I knew, you know what? Having your body rested and recovered, focusing on nutrition is a greater percent than just beating it up. Because you don't need to do the most when you have all your other ducks in a row, you know? Just to save people a lot of grueling exercise. There are points where you do need to push yourself. Undertraining. Undertraining is just as bad because what happens is your body will never get used to the impact. It will never get used to the gradual, load increase to push yourself, to challenge yourself. Especially if you're trying to develop muscle mass, you're trying to overcome, other issues, you have to have progressive overload. So undertraining will keep you in a plateaued state and it will mitigate burning significant fat, but you have to know when to do these things. So overtraining and undertraining are vital, and to make sure you're hydrated, please. Not overly hydrated. There's something called hyponatremia where you can flush all the electrolytes out of your body for excessive water. So you need to know how much you're sweating. Sweating is great benefit of exercise, by the way. The skin is your second kidney. It gets rid of a lot of toxins. So a good sweat on a sunny, hot day is good. I don't go to the gym because I believe working out in air conditioned in an artificial environment where the weight is balanced for you. You don't get the connective tissue, the ligaments and the tendons strengthened. You just see when the weight is on a machine, and I'm skipping ahead, but when the weight is on a machine and balanced for you, it doesn't train your body, the connective tissue, the ligaments, your tendons to get stronger. So what happens, you're developing a larger muscle group, but you're not developing the small pieces that support the muscle group. Sometimes it's good to have a little weight. Now it varies on your level, but your bones rebuild themselves. Your bone matrix strengthens itself through some overload. So to keep your bones strong, first make sure you get your proper nutrition, your vitamin D3, vitamin K2, and magnesium, and all these things, so your body can use calcium effectively. Make sure you're eating enough protein, collagen. Collagen is good, and eating the right quality protein, and making sure your gut health is good, so that you can, assimilate and break the stuff down in your stomach. Because all that plays a part, and then you can start strengthening your bones. Your bone and muscles have a lot to do with each other. Yeah, and let me tell you, when you do fast, your muscles will look flatter temporarily because you're not giving the sugar. But when you stop fasting and you start getting back to eating, your muscles to get their full look again. So don't worry if you fast and you lose a little bit of musculature. That's normal. I actually can get to the point where I water fast for like 3 to 4 days and I can still work out. But I had to build up to that level. All right. I had to build up to that. Don't overexert yourself. Don't hurt yourself. It takes time to get to that level. And even now, I still have to be careful because when you're not putting any nutrition in your body, you definitely have to do things with caution. I personally avoid gym culture, where you're going to be, first of all, motivated by the wrong thing, by vanity, where it's all about this illusion, this superficial appearance to be part of a culture. I don't like that. I think you get better results when you work out in the sun, around trees. Some parks have calisthenic bars where you can work out in the sun, in the open air. You can breathe real air. Indoor pollution is worse than you think. And then you're breathing that freon. A lot of AC has a lot of mold and mildew in the air, because anybody who knows how things work, when you have cool air flowing through a vent long term, you get condensation. The condensation stays there when the AC is on constantly, and then you get mold and mildew and fungus in the air. Because that stuff sits and it collects microorganisms, and it sits, and it's like a weird thing. You don't want to do that. AC is making a lot of people sick and they don't realize it. I'm not saying if you're in a hot climate that it's not good, but just know that it's better to get things naturally as much as possible. Yeah, if it's too hot, don't work out when it's super hot, because that can create a different issue. Your body does need to cool down at times. because working out is hypothermic reaction, meaning that it produces heat. You know, so I'm gonna tell you the difference between machines, calisthenics, and functional exercise. Like I told people, I don't like machines all the time because they balance the weight. They're not really functional in real life. You're unless you know there's very few exercise that you're going to do in a way a machine does. Now, if like for example, if you want to do an exercise, you need to know the full weight of it without the machine's help because in real life you won't have a machine there to balance anything from you. If you want to move furniture, you're gonna have to make sure your posture is right. You're gonna have to make sure you have the proper mechanics to lift on your own. But if you're used to using machines in real life, nothing's balanced. You have to balance it yourself with your core, with your leg strength, with your body symmetry, and you have to learn how to do these things on your own. So the gym will make you look good if you're going to just be in the machines all the time. But in real life, start light, learn how to balance, learn how to use your core, learn how to use your legs, develop your body foundationally, and then you will gradually be able to overload more on naturally. So, what do you think about going to see a chiropractor? Well, I think it varies. There are different types of chiropractors out there. I would go more of a naturopathic um, route where they're using because it's not bad, I don't think, but because there is some general logical information to helping align the body, you know, through stretching and certain things. But you know, there is a point where they're going to get into big pharma and they're going to switch over to surgery and things like that. So I'm more of a natural result. I hurt my back really bad when I worked at FedEx Ground when I was 19. I tried to lift a package that was 350, 400 pounds off a truck. And man, I hurt my back really bad. And then I had an incident where I slipped on the train, fell on my lower back and my neck, my head on metal escalators. I never forget that. Hurt myself really bad. And I did certain natural exercises to realign myself. It took a while because when you're naturally aligning yourself, it's consistency, but low impact stretches that you're naturally pulling the body back into alignment. So it took a while. It took a lot of learning, you know, good ways to stretch and align my body, being aware of posture over time, avoiding doing certain movements until I strengthening certain muscles, disc, ligaments, tendons, strengthening the body overall. You got to think like that. Um, but each person has a unique situation, so you got to learn your own body. I mean, we all have different injuries, different accumulation of damage. So you have to learn your own body, and you have to learn the difference between a good chiropractor and one that just wants to get your money. So, you know, do your research, but you know, hey, it's nothing wrong with you know researching and learning how what they're doing, so you can make a logical, informed decision if they're what they're trying to promote is what you really want, and if it leads towards healing, it leads to more towards the body healing itself, or they just want to keep you dependent to where you have to get surgeries and put kind of you know they want to replace your joints and your body with fake stuff. Yeah, so like I said, I've been through a lot, and let me tell you, my back is stronger than it was when I was young, and it took a lot of hard lessons, a lot of things to get there, and of course, with the grace and mercy of God, I'm thankful to Him because I believe that as I grew my spirit in Christ, that's inevitably what was the catalyst behind anything. You know, God has to give grace and mercy to anything we do, so I thank Him for that. What else I want to talk about? We're gonna wrap this up in a little bit. I talked about the importance of sweating. Um, like I said, blood flow. A lot of issues, blood flow. Cayenne pepper is excellent. If you find your first of all, if you find your body, your limbs falling asleep, you need to cut down the refined sugars. You need to do more movement. There's certain things to make sure you don't have no blood clots going around. Natural means. What's going on, Am1? What's going on, bro? There's a lot you need to do. So, just check that out. A lot of people have hardened arteries and all this stuff. So you want to make sure that your body is functional, because you don't want no blood clots. You don't want you got hardened arteries because your body's displacing calcium in the wrong places. It's not going to your teeth and bones. It's going to your soft tissues. It's going to your arteries, your brain. If you're a woman, a lot of women have fibroids because of their body is channeling calcium into that area because of hormones, because of sugars, and basically fibroids is tumor-like growths, hardened tissues through calcium being channeled in the wrong area. Of course, sunlight can help you get rid of fibroids. Um, Anything that vitamin K2, look it up. That works in conjunction with vitamin D3, magnesium, will help you pull calcium out of the wrong places and put it back into the right places. And then making sure your hormones are balanced by getting rid of all the chemical, environmental things as much as possible, helping your body to detox, making sure your liver is healthy. Um, I think my next video I'm gonna talk about root canals, because root canals and most orthodontic work is causing a lot of mold and bad stuff to leak into the body overall, and a lot of symptoms are coming through root canal procedures, orthodontic work, that I think, especially from personal experiences, is worth talking about. So that probably will be my next one. Yeah, you can get vitamin K2 from, and I say vitamin K2 because we know K2 is a drug, and I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying. Vitamin K2 from egg yolks, I think certain cheeses, anything high in fat, healthy fat contents, has vitamin K2. Natto, a fermented soybean product, is high in vitamin K2. Um, So eat, I know some people don't eat meats, but your healthy red meats and eggs and chicken and fish, are very healthy for the oils and the, all the fats that you need to help reduce inflammation, keep your arteries flowing, your blood flow flowing, all that stuff. Yeah, you definitely want to try cayenne pepper. I think cayenne pepper is good. If it's too hot for you, they have capsules. Just get a good brand. Um, but also you got to eliminate processed foods and refined sugars and just bad eating. You need to detox, get your ginger root, turmeric root, lemons and limes, oranges, blueberries. All of these type of foods are good. Find a way to incorporate them. I usually drink some tea, some matcha green tea, and I have a few detox teas that I use to help my body to dump toxins. You can get cilantro, you get parsley, watercress, broccoli sprouts, cruciferous vegetables. Um, a lot of fruits are good. Fruits are healthier than most people realize. Don't be Sugar is not the problem unless it's coming unnaturally. Sugars and fruits have fibers, nutrients, um, minerals. They have everything your body needs to do to uptake the sugar so that your body can utilize it. The problem is when you have fake foods, refined sugars, and candy and stuff like that, the sugar it's not packaged in a food. So the sugar just sits in your blood and it causes problem, and your body can't uptake the sugar. So if you find yourself having what you perceive as high blood sugar levels because your vision is blurry, your urine has a certain odor, your skin is itchy, um, you might want to increase your body activity, get out and start walking more. At least walk until you get a consistent heart rate. You feel on a hot day you can sweat. Um, do a lot of movement. Don't overexert your body. Just focus on consistent movement. Make it a daily thing if you can. Take the stairs whenever possible. Um, yeah, and eat well when you do any kind of activity. That's huge. Eat well. Um, Go on intermittent fasting. It's good to stretch out. Make sure you're not incorporating any sugar during times of fasting. Give your organs a rest. Allow your body to detox, recover. Sugar is not good unless you're pregnant or breastfeeding, as for women, but constant eating otherwise is not good. Um, Let me see. And if you want to, I know some guys want to gain muscle, you want to build your structure, your stature. Just understand that you get everything else right. You make sure your body's healthy foundationally. Then the progressive overload from calisthenics, weight training, functional exercise, and eating a little bit more larger meals, healthy meals can be beneficial. But even then, you should know when you don't need to eat as much and still incorporate intermittent fasting. It's great. Sometimes I do a little exercise right before I eat because I figure that whatever I eat, my body's going to utilize the nutrients and the sugars in the food better if I create the need for my body to have that sugar. So less of it will be stored as subcutaneous fat stores. I want to be lean but have a good musculature. So, you know, I just make sure I work out, and that's my way of earning the meal that I'm having. I psych myself out. I say I need to earn this meal, so let me get down and do some exercise. Because the worst thing you can do is wake up, eat, and then go back to sleep, sit around. Very toxic. If you're not doing any activity, you don't need to eat a lot. Drink clean water, eat fruits, don't. If you're going to eat, when you eat big meals, make sure you create the activity that's going to help you utilize and assimilate those nutrition to your body. What's going on? Me memes. What's going on? So I'm not going to keep it too long. I just want to jump in on some of these things. I'm going to talk about a lot of subjects. So I hope that this was good info for you. Like I said, next time we're going to talk about orthodontic work, root canals, cavities, mouth issues, the importance of your oral health. Um, and then I think my next video, I'm going to tell you signs that you can tell that something's wrong in your body. Your eyes, your skin, your teeth. Um, there are a lot of things to tell you when something's wrong in your body and that you need to make changes. So we're going to look at those, your nails, all these things, hair growth, all good stuff. So on that note, peace and blessings. Please hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for sharing with me. I hope this was useful to you. And we're going to continue to keep pushing out more consistent videos on this channel. And on that note, I thank you. I thank God for fellowship and stay in Christ. Grow your faith in Him. That's the only way you do it. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. And I'm gonna leave it on for a second so that I just don't cut off the commentary. I know some people might want to comment a little bit. So I'll just leave it on. But thank you. Peace and blessings.